Today we're going to be talking about honeydew. When I go grocery shopping, I only go once every 3 weeks, and I love getting things that are seasonal and my family wants to eat. But normally at the same time, I'm getting cantaloupes, honeydew, and watermelon. Since cantaloupes will spoil the quickest, I will normally cut and use those first. And the honeydew are in the middle, and then the watermelon will actually stay fresh the longest. So for the honeydew, I want to make sure that it is heavy for its size. If it's light, it means it's just full of seeds and there's not a thick flesh inside of the melon. And I want to fill around it and make sure that there's no soft spots. Another thing I do when I bring it home to make sure that we don't have soft spots is every couple days I'll rotate it on the counter so it keeps moving around a little bit before I cut it. When I'm bringing my produce home, I make sure to wash it. All of the different produce items have different techniques, which I've written about in my book that is linked in the description if you would like written instructions. But for honeydew, I want to make sure that I'm putting it in a large pot that the water will go all around it. And I add a 1/4 cup of distilled white vinegar to every 10 cups of water I put in the pot. I use 5% distilled white vinegar, which will kill off any bacteria on the outside of the rind. So when I cut it, it won't go through to the inside. Okay, I have a large stock pot here in the sink that already has vinegar water in it because I just washed a cantaloupe, and the honeydew is going to go next. This is going to float, so I'm going to stand here as I set the timer and kind of rotate it around. This is also a good job for a little kid to help you. Keep them busy for 2 minutes. All right, I wash the melon when I bring it home from the store, but this is one item that you can actually just dry off with a towel. You don't have to let it air dry. But make sure it's dry before you cut it so you don't slip. So with melons, I normally cut off the ends first. And then I will set it up on its side, and then I will cut down the rind. Try not to get too much of the flesh. Okay, so then I normally cut this down into 2 pieces. We're going to scoop out these seeds. Our chickens love eating the seeds, so we get them to the chickens. Okay, there we go. Now that these are de-seeded and cut into 2, I'm going to flip these over so I have the flat surface area against the cutting board so it's not wobbling on me. And I'm going to cut these into wedges. You can either leave it as wedges like this and put it in the container, or you can move it to the side and then you're going to cut it diagonally, which will give you pieces. When I'm cutting up melons, I always leave some of them in the larger wedge sizes and then just add them to the top of the container of the cut sizes, because you can always make something smaller, but you can't make it bigger if you have a little that wants a smile. So we call these smiles at our house, the wedges, because they're kind of cute and they look like smiles. Oh, none of those do, so you'll have to do a little smile. There you go. Cutting up melon only takes a few minutes and you can get a full container of fruit. I normally won't buy pre-packaged fruit trays because I find it so less expensive just to go ahead and cut it myself, and I can put it in the refrigerator in glass containers and it will last longer. So when you're putting it in a glass container like this with a snap-on closed lid, the honeydew will stay fresh for about 10 days. Make sure you do not put a paper towel at the bottom of this. Make sure that you're draining that off every couple days and it'll keep your fruit fresh longer. If you want tips on all the different kinds of melons, we have videos for honeydew and cantaloupe, and we will put those in the description below. And if you like written instructions, make sure to check out the description for our book.